bonus episode where I'm going to cover MXGP. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to follow this series more because we're already at round 10. So this is a pro tip. Look at Jeremy Seewer, not his race face, but what is actually on his nose. He's got a breathe right strip. And for those of you out there that aren't doing this, you should be, because you can get 18% more oxygen by breathing through your nose. You need to practice and train breathing through your nose and out your mouth, not through your mouth. Do not do that. It's deep breath is what you got to do, and you got to expand your belly because you're trying to get as much oxygen to your muscles so you don't get arm pump, and then you don't want to build up of CO2 so that you'll eventually get like this lactic threshold where you go anaerobic and you're pretty much screwed, where you can't even use any of the levers because your fingers, your hands are rock hard. So I digress. But what is interesting is I have no freaking idea what the metal piece is around his nose. Like, it's literally going underneath his nose too. And so if I'm speculating, it's just to pry open his entryways, his nostrils, so that the little skin can have more oxygen. Small tangent before I get onto the amazing lines. MXGP, they've been using the great starts for a long time, and they've been having good success with it. I will argue, though, that there's far less riders. Yes, there's only 19 riders here at round 10, and you've got big hitters like Tim Geiger that's out and Jeffrey Hurlings, but on average, there is 18 to 25 guys usually, where in motocross, it's always 40. So there is just more chances because there's more bikes out there to get hurt, because that great start does make it to where speeds are faster because you have 100%. It's like starting on asphalt. You have instant traction right away. However, I will quote the great Gillespie. He's a stoic philosopher, that if things are going to stay the same, well, then things are going to have to change, right? It's just innovation. I do think motocross and everything is lifting as a whole, but I'm not super pumped on the greats just because they cause more incidents because of speeds. And here, pretty much Febvre got both hole shots because he started from the inside. This was a nice, safe first corner, and it does help that there's only 19 riders versus a start of 40. And the MXGP grates are quite a bit bigger. It's not just this small little piece that's 6 inches long. You have freaking 3.5 feet to where you could start wherever you want to, and to match up with a rut in front of the gate. Watch Roman Febvre, the green bike out front, as he just blows through a berm because he's finding a smooth line. Yes, he did that on purpose because this line is jacked up and super edgy. That's going to bounce y'all over the place. Geode behind him is going for an outside line that is fairly bumpy as well. So he's just merging the two, which is a spectacular feat to be able to think that fast on your feet, because this is lap 1, and be able to make a new line that you're going to use the rest of the moto. However, if I'm going to nitpick at all, I'm going to say his elbow is dropped there, where even if you look at Geode, his elbow is up. That is a good segue for today's video sponsor, PureMoto.com. If you're like Roman Febvre and you're looking for traction, well, you might need new tires. So if you're shopping for tires, I recommend the Geomax MX34. And if you're using their website, you can actually go view availability, and you're going to be connected to the Pure Moto network, where they do all the hard work for you, where they're connecting businesses and shops so that you can spend less time actually at the dealer and more time on the bike. The hardest part of the track had to have been this uphill roller section. You've got Geode on the outside, and then you've got Prado on the inside. Notice they're different lines here. I'll just play it in real time, where Geode is on the outside trying to double, single, double, double, and Prado is going roll, 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 double, and it looks far less taxing on the body, and he was actually able to make up some time. So we'll do that in slow motion here, but this part of the track looked like it took so much energy because these rollers are so big that these guys weren't really able to just double through. They ended up having to just face them. This track looked like it was really taxing, not because it was rough and super rutted, but because of the elevation changes where these guys really had to squeeze hard with their legs, or else they were going to hold on too tight with their arms and pretty much tax themselves out, where you got that dreaded arm pump there. I do want to say that I like Prado's line better. If I just roll, jump, bounce, then double again, then geodes. Let's just continue with these two gentlemen. You've got Prado on the outside getting around geode. No one ever wants to be passed on the outside. And notice, look at Prado, how his elbow is up, and look how he is dragging that rear brake. He is using that as a foot peg, and he's dropping the clutch. You can actually see him release the clutch and spin that rear tire to where he's essentially doing the Fast and the Furious drift around the corner, which just looks beautiful, but he doesn't really get off the rear brake until the exit of the corner where we can't see it right here. It's just, again, interesting that the trail braking is different when it comes to motocross because he's actually doing it to swing that bike around to drift. Here, we'll do that in real time. Super pretty. Prado, to me, reminds me a lot of Kevin Windham. And we could totally argue about which country started this sort of a riding technique where you're jumping a lot. But look at Jet Lawrence. He's a guy that is super fluid over here that is winning races. And where did he really get a start? It was MXGP. Well, watch Prado as he's coming down this hill. What does he do? Okay, that was the first one. Did you guys notice it? He's braking, but then he gets off the brakes and actually just accelerates and jumps over 5 or 6 different braking bumps, which just is smooth. It's less taxing on the body when you do that. And if we further watch, this is something that we see Deegan and Jet do a lot. Did you see what he did again? Just use another bump to kind of make a step up going up the hill to just continue to be smooth. Okay, so let's watch it. Here's the first one. Hey, that is all I have for you guys today. I sincerely appreciate every single one of you that are sticking with me and are hitting that subscribe button because it does help. Man, you know, it's almost like the guilty pleasure might be sticking around for a while when it comes to listening to freaking Johnny F. and Hopper. So until next time, you know what to do. Keep it WFO. Big week. World Supercross, and you've got the 4th of July Red Bud.